All right, we're going to talk about sex. If you asked 100 people the definition of good sex, you would probably get 100 different definitions of what that means, and you would probably get some insight into the freakiness level of some of the people and friends that you asked. So what I thought would be fun in this video is for us to strip away all the noise, to just uncover 3 ingredients. See what I did? See what I did there? Strip away, uncover. No, okay. So in this video, what I thought I would do is give a working definition of good sex by looking at 3 ingredients that should be present if we're gonna have good sex. That's today on Relationshots. Hey, welcome to Relationshots. My name is Eric Wooten. If this is your first time hanging out with us, welcome to the place to get practical relationship advice that actually works in your relationship. If you've not already done so, go ahead and click the subscribe button and the bell notification so you don't miss upcoming videos. If you want a free guide to intimacy, hit the link in the description area below. If we can help you in any area of your relationship, we'd love to walk alongside you in this journey called relationship and marriage. You can see links for lots of different resources and classes and courses and our marriage membership where you can find a community of people who are trying to grow their marriage as well, and access to resources. Check that out below. So we're going to talk about sex. Listen, everybody has thoughts on sex. From that awkward conversation with mom and dad about what happens when a mommy and a daddy really love each other, right? To stuff we see on movies, to porn stars, to our best friends, to magazines. Everybody's got thoughts on what sex is supposed to look like, which actually most of the time makes us more confused than it actually helps us in the situation. So the goal of this video is to give a working definition of good sex so that we actually know what we're trying to build towards. And I thought the best way to do that would be go as simplistic as possible. Let's look in the dictionary. What does Merriam-Webster have to say about this whole idea of intercourse? And so I'm going to give you 3 working definitions from the dictionary that I think provide a perfect recipe for good sex. Are you ready? Here we go. Here's what Webster says 3 definitions of intercourse are. Number 1, exchange, especially of thoughts or feelings. Number 2 definition is connection or dealings between persons or groups. Number 3 is physical sexual contact between individuals that involves the genitalia of at least one person. Bill Clinton probably should have read this definition a while ago before he said, "I did not have sexual relations with that woman." Yeah, you did. One of your genitalia was involved. Webster would define that as sex. So there's the 3 ingredients Webster gives, which is exchanges of thoughts and feelings, connection between persons or people, and then the actual physical act. And I think that is a perfect recipe for how to have good sex in marriage. Number 1 is 1 part exchanging our thoughts and feelings. Imagine a relationship where husband and wife are exchanging their thoughts and feelings on a regular basis. They're sharing their hopes, they're sharing their dreams, they're sharing their aspirations, they're sharing their struggles, their pains, their hurts, their disappointments, their frustrations. They're taking time, sometimes on a daily basis, to share their highs and their lows for the day. They're exchanging feelings. They feel like they know one another and they're known by one another because they know what's going on in each other's hearts and minds. There's an exchange of thoughts and feelings. So 1 part exchange of thoughts and feelings, 1 part connection between the 2 people, right? Couples that are intentional about their connection together are couples that generally have a better sex life. They're saying we are prioritizing moments of communication where we're connecting with one another, where we're building intellectual and emotional intimacy with each other, where we're prioritizing specific times, maybe throughout the day, maybe throughout the week, where we are setting aside time, removing all other distractions, and the focus is our connection together. So we're not problem solving, we're not resolving conflict, we're not talking about parenting, all the topics that actually can lead to disconnection and conflict. We're saying we are setting aside time just simply for connection. And on top of that, we also recognize and are trying to either minimize or eliminate things that cause disconnection in our relationship, right? Yelling, name calling, criticism, silent treatment, all the things that actually cause a couple to feel disconnected. We're trying to minimize and eliminate those in our relationship so that we can maintain that connection with each other. So it's one part exchanging thoughts and ideas on a regular basis and feelings. It's one part prioritizing our connection together. And then it's one part, do it. Have sex, right? Having sex begets more having sex. Not having sex begets more not having sex, right? And if you're watching this and maybe you're in a relationship where you've not had sex in months or years, or maybe it's once a year or twice a year, you understand the longer it goes, the more difficult it becomes to initiate that again. It's almost awkward, right? I don't even know how to initiate anymore. It's been so long, right? And so you've got to be having sex if you want to have more having sex. And so this one part actually doing it is we're prioritizing it. We're making sure that we are both initiating it, that this is a regular part of our relationship. We're talking about our feelings around it, what we do like, what we don't like, what we do want to do, what we don't want to do. We're sharing our insecurities, maybe our fears, maybe the things that we worry about. We're actually communicating when the reason I'm not engaging in sex is because I don't feel good about my body in this season, or whatever it might be, or I don't initiate because I fear rejection. I don't like that feeling. We're talking about the sexual relationship that we have in our marriage, instead of just acting like we don't talk about it and we're just somehow going to do it every once in a while. And it may be, to get this part 3 going again, you may have to schedule it for a time. It may be that it's been so long that you really don't know how to initiate, and both of you are fearful around it, or you think it's going to be awkward. Great. Maybe for a season you need to say, hey, Tuesday and Friday are sex nights. I'll see you at 9 o'clock, butt naked. Like we're going to have it. We're going to prioritize it. And you may just need to do that for a season until it becomes normal and regular again. And if you're exchanging thoughts and ideas, part 1, sharing your feelings. If you're part 2, setting aside time for connection on a regular basis, you're prioritizing it. I promise you, part 3, actually having sex becomes a lot easier, because good sex is most of the time connected sex. We're not just saying, hey, we're taking just the physical part of a relationship and trying to plug it in when nothing else is going on. Oftentimes, when I'm meeting with couples and you hear that they're struggling in their sex life, it's because they say, I don't feel connected anywhere else in our relationship. I don't feel emotionally connected. I don't feel intellectually connected. I don't feel spiritually connected. And because of that, it's hard for me just to go straight to the physical connection. Whereas for a lot of husbands, I know it's the case that the physical connection is actually what makes them feel more emotionally connected, where wives are often wired the other way. So if it's not happening, Webster says, here is the definition of intercourse. 1 part exchanging thoughts and feelings, 1 part intentional connection between 2 people, and 1 part the physical act actually doing it. That's the recipe for good sex, because connected sex is actually great sex. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comment section below. I know we've simplified this, but let me know if the first 2 are missing, if you have a hard time jumping into 3. If you're struggling in any one of those first 2, let's talk about what that looks like to reconnect again and get this area going. That's the definition of good sex according to Merriam-Webster. I'll see you next time right back here on Relation Shots.